Hello and welcome. Take a moment and look at your arm. You might have a light dusting of hair, or maybe something thicker, but either way, it's nothing like the dense, glorious coat of fur you see on a chimpanzee, a gorilla, or almost any other mammal. This bare skin, this lack of a pelt, is perhaps the most obvious, yet most overlooked evolutionary shift in the story of Homo sapiens. We are the naked apes. And the question is, why? It sounds simple, almost a joke, but this single difference changed everything. It sets the stage for our incredible journey. This isn't just a story about hair, it's a story about survival, about running for miles under a blazing sun, about social connections, and even about how we first decided to pick up a sharp stone and start making tools. Today, we're diving into the mystery of human hairlessness, the ghost of the savannah that haunts our skin. It's a transition that's surprisingly controversial, deeply rooted in our environment, and one that unlocks some of the most fundamental secrets of what it means to be human. The Mammalian Rulebook and the Great Migration. To understand the puzzle, you first have to appreciate the rule. For a mammal, hair is non-negotiable. It's insulation, a way to keep your core temperature stable, whether you're in the Arctic or a jungle. It offers protection from scrapes, and in many cases, it's an essential tool for camouflage and communication. Take a primate. Their thick fur is a legacy of an environment where shade and short bursts of energy defined their life. They live in the forest canopy. They move quickly from shadow to shadow. When they exert themselves, they need to cool down, a quick, effective mechanism for short sprints. But around 2.5 to 3 million years ago, our early ancestors, let's call them the first hominins to make this radical change, left the cooling embrace of the forest and stepped out onto the wide, sun-drenched savanna of East Africa. This was a completely different world. The problem? They were built for the trees. Covered in thick fur. They were essentially wearing a heavy winter coat in the middle of a desert summer. Try running a marathon in a parka, and you'll get a sense of their challenge. The dense fur traps heat, making cooling via panting or simple sweating dangerously inefficient. If you overheat, you die. It's that simple. This is where the story of hair loss begins. The most widely accepted, and compelling, hypothesis is called the thermoregulatory hypothesis. It suggests that the loss of fur was a crucial adaptation to a new survival strategy, endurance running. Imagine our ancestors. They weren't the fastest sprinters. A lion or a cheetah would run circles around them. But what if they don't have to be faster? What if they just had to be longer lasting? Hunting on the open savanna required a profound shift. Instead of a sudden ambush, our ancestors began practicing what's known as persistence hunting. They would chase a large prey animal, a kudu, a zebra, at a moderate, steady jog. In the intense heat of the midday sun, the animal, covered in thick fur, would bolt, getting a huge thermal spike. It would be cooled down by panting, but because it's wearing its fur coat, panting is incredibly inefficient. The human, however, would keep going. Jog, jog, jog. The animal would run again, thermal load rising. Jog, jog, jog. Eventually, the prey would literally collapse from heat exhaustion. Our ancestors had two massive advantages: a bipedal stride, far more efficient for long-distance travel than four legs, and naked, sweaty skin. The secret weapon isn't the loss of hair, but the thing that replaced it. We didn't just become naked, we became the sweatiest animal on the planet. Our skin is packed with eccrine sweat glands. Up to 5 million of them. A chimp has some, mostly on its palms and soles, but humans have them all over, capable of secreting vast amounts of water onto the skin. The moment that water evaporates, it carries heat away from the body with it. It is a biological air conditioning system, so incredibly effective that we can literally run until an animal with a fur coat collapses. This adaptation wasn't a quick fix. It was a gradual, million-year-long process. Fossil evidence suggests this transition occurred sometime between 2 and 3 million years ago. Genetic studies on specific genes related to sweat production and hair growth place the key changes in the same general window. But here is where it gets fascinating. The fur didn't vanish uniformly. You'll notice we kept hair on our heads. Why? The simple answer: direct solar radiation. Even with the incredible cooling system of sweat, the brain is a thermal runaway. It's an engine that generates massive heat, and the sun beating down directly on the skull could quickly lead to heat stroke. So, a dense cap of hair remains as a solar shield to protect the most vital organs. The loss of fur doesn't just change our physiology, it fundamentally altered our social and cultural evolution. Think about grooming. For a chimp or a monkey, mutual grooming is the bedrock of their society. It's how they form alliances, reduce stress, and establish hierarchy. They remove dirt and parasites from a thick pelt. When we become naked, that form of grooming loses its primary function. We no longer have a thick pelt to maintain. But the need for social bonding didn't disappear. It was simply transformed into something else. Some researchers argue that the function of physical grooming was replaced by language. Instead of spending hours picking nits, we started spending hours talking, gossiping, and exchanging information. A hug, a handshake, an affirming word, these became our new social cement. We kept the ancient drive for connection but switched the mechanism from physical to vocal. The second major side effect is vulnerability. Without a pelt, we are completely exposed to the elements. This vulnerability became the driving force behind two of our most powerful cultural inventions, shelter and clothing. The invention of clothes, however, is a fascinating paradox. The genetic shift that led to dark, protective skin to handle the sun occurred over 3 million years ago. But archaeologists and geneticists studying body lice can only live on clothing, estimate that clothing was invented much, much later, perhaps only 70,000 to 170,000 years ago, as we began to move out of Africa and into colder climates. While the ability to sweat and run gave us a profound survival advantage, it also came with a hidden cost: the need for external resources. Every other animal's defense system is built in: fur, scales, thick skin. Ours is external. We are completely dependent on our ingenuity to survive outside a very narrow tropical band. We must make clothes, build fires, and construct shelter, or we die. We traded a permanent biological coat for a cognitive cultural reliance on technology. This is arguably the first and most defining feature of our technological trajectory. Moreover, our nakedness exposes the fundamental importance of skin color. When you have fur, skin color doesn't matter much. When you are bare, skin becomes the front line of defense against harmful UV radiation. In the high UV environment of the African Savannah, our ancestors evolved dark skin rich in melanin to protect the crucial nutrient folate. As groups migrated out of Africa into lower UV regions, the selective pressure eased, and lighter skin evolved to allow for sufficient vitamin D synthesis. The astonishing variation in human skin color around the globe is not a mark of deep, ancient differences. It is the most recent evolutionary chapter of our adaptation to the loss of our fur coat. It's all a direct consequence of shedding that original pelt. So, the next time you feel a cool breeze on your skin, or you see the subtle, almost invisible hair on your arm, remember the ghost of the savannah. Our nakedness wasn't an act of vanity or a random mutation. It was a desperate yet brilliant thermal adaptation that enabled the extraordinary survival strategy of persistence hunting. It gave us a weapon no other animal had, the ability to run all day. This biological choice rippled outward, reshaping our social bonds, driving the invention of clothing and fire, and creating the necessary conditions for the diversity of our species. We are the ultimate endurance runners, the masters of the long game, not because of our strength, but because of our ability to stay cool. We shed our fur so we could run. And in doing so, we unleashed the cognitive complexity, the culture, the technology, the language that defines the history of humankind. We became the one species who traded a protective coat for a thinking brain. And the world has never been the same.